Hello, you are welcome to ICAN on Air, our very first for the year 2021. We are going to be examining today the financial sector reforms which began in Nigeria with the regulation of interest rates in August 1987. And since then, far-reaching policy measures, including the chartering of new banks, reform of the capital market, and a move from direct to indirect monetary controls have been undertaken, including competitive financial system. Now, fintech have been quick to take advantage with stepping up to develop the enhanced proposition across the value chain to address pain points in affordable payments, quick loans, and flexible savings and investments, amongst others. Joining me today on our very first in the new year 2022, I should say, and I must correct myself in there, our very first, hearing for year 2022, and to drive deeper insights for education and understanding on the reforms in the Nigerian financial sector and looking at the role of fintech is Folasade Femi-Lawal Mrs. FCA, FCIT, MBA, a senior executive and digital payment expert with over 25 years, solid experience spanning retail banking, business advisory services, and telecoms. We shall unveil more on our guests as we move on. And also on this segment, we are going to be having, naturally, a bit of tidbits on the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and adverts. So please stay connected. We will be back with you formally. And we are there already with our guest, Madam Folasade Femi-Lawal. You are welcome to ICAN on Air.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Mr. Akinfatunke. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Such a pleasure that part of the things that we try to do is to drive inclusivity. And we decided that, yes, our women must be the very first to appear in 2022. You are most welcome.
That is awesome. Fulfilling the ESG, right?
Oh, yes.
ICAN is always leading, and it's impressive.
How else will you put it when we had our ICAN president, a female of panache and class, driving even this initiative? You are most welcome.
Thank you very much.
We just go straight into business. Wanting you to just give us really an online participant a general overview of this subject, talking about reforms in the financial sector and the role of fintech in general terms. Wishing you explain to our online participants and listeners what precisely is fintech and what is its connection with startups.
All right. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Akinfatunke. And good evening, audience, my colleagues and friends. It's such a pleasure to have you join us on this all-important topic. And what a better time than now, where fintech has become a critical stakeholder in our economy. And briefly, fintech is any company using technology to support financial services of any type. Call them portmanteau of financial services and technology. So, and they include the kind of services they offer include, but not limited to RegTech, lending, payments, saving, investing, insurance, to name a few. And that's the same company that the people bringing technology to financial services. They are just utilizing the opportunity in technology. We must also not forget that what is bringing about this evolution is the smart tech revolution, which is the social, mobile, the analytics, and cloud. Internet penetration, talk about Internet of Things, mobile phone penetration, and also the exposure and the opportunity that digital transformation has provided is what is making fintech to be a lot relevant. And trust me, financial institutions such as the one I represent, First Bank, we refer to ourselves since this evolution started as a fintech technology company providing financial services. Everybody is a fintech, just to put it mildly, if you want to survive in this industry. Thank you.
Oh yes, I guess you can say that again. You either survive going technology fintech or you die. But what kind of transformation has fintech brought to the financial services industry in Nigeria, albeit globally?
Thank you very much. If we actually let's start from globally, from where it started, it all began. If we recall the 2008-2009 stock market crash, Mr. Kifatunke, I'm sure you won't forget that, being an experienced accountant.
Not in a hurry.
We were not in a hurry. We won't, even the young ones that we were coming after, right after you, we were all hit with that. It drew, global attention. When banks were under an increased level of regulatory scrutiny that starts up one subject to. So, for all you care, like I mentioned, financial institutions, even traditional banking, we are also catching up. And even right now, majority of spending on what we call fintech also happen in big banks. But back to the value add of what fintech is. In the mid-1990s, this crash, stock market crash, gave birth to modern fintech. And like I said, the Internet of Things, mobile phones, and the cloud. And it is no coincidence at all, if you recall, Amazon and eBay started in 1995. Almost immediately, PayPal followed them. And then when we come to Nigeria, our fintech evolution, the real one, started with 2000. When card technology services issued that first MasterCard. Mr. Kifatunke, remember that first MasterCard?
You can say that again, yes.
With the first
succeeding punch cards. Go ahead.
Thank you. You got it. Followed by UP with the first ePOS in May 2001. And then Econet came on the stream. I was part of the pioneer staff for Econet. We made the first mobile telephone call in Nigeria in August 2002, along with MTN. Then eTransact showed up with the first payment gateway. All this happened in 2001. InterSwitch, the three techie guys in InterSwitch, Charles, Michelle, and Akim, the founding fathers at InterSwitch, came on with Quick Teller that enabled banks, ATM, POS, and online payment processing. That was quickly followed with Vanso. Vanso showed up with providing banks with mobile banking opportunity. We ran through that in 2005 to 2012 when Paga came, the one we call the real fintech. When Vanso and InterSwitch started, we didn't call them fintech. We call them switching companies in those days. And then we have a handful of banks, GT and First Bank with Helios. We started with the USSD option. It did scale at the beginning. By the time Konga and Jumia showed up with the opportunity to change the dynamics of online markets, here we are backed by regulation, and now the market is out there. We have the Flutterwaves of this world. Just to put it in a short form, that is how it has been. The transformation has been major.
Wonderful. Thanks for those insights, giving us that transformation. But in what way has the Central Bank of Nigeria enhanced development in fintech in Nigeria?
The Central Bank of Nigeria has actually supported. Let's not forget there was a time, the financial inclusion vision of CBN, Mr. Kifatunke, where we were all challenged by CBN to say all adults in Nigeria must be able, down to the bottom of the pyramid, must be able to access at least formal financial services. They went as far as even defining what they meant by that formal financial services by putting some metrics to say 100, that's their payment, that's their vision 2020 for financial inclusion strategy. They said, okay, what are the things that we want to see? Savings by 60%, that we must move from financial exclusion from FINA's survey from 40% to 20% in 2020. I don't know whether we have achieved that. I mean, the jury is not out on that. But then the key product that they will want to see will be payment, about 70% penetration, savings, like I mentioned, credit, lending, about 60%, even insurance. And they went further to mandate financial institutions that there must be at least 7.6 branches of a bank, 5 microfinance branches, and 59.6 ATMs. POS 850, a whopping 850, and 62 mobile agents per 100,000 adults. That's a huge ambition, but that is what central bank has done by providing regulations to back this up. All the evolution, the fintech evolution in Nigeria that I talked about, the history, they are all backed up with CBN regulation. The cashless policy, don't forget that the cashless initiative leverage digital transformation, and the fintech puts their might behind that, working with the banks to make sure we have the cashless policy. Of course, Lagos being the commercial center of Nigeria, we always try it out in Lagos, and then it extends to other states. And so what I would want to say, without missing my words, that the CBN has been quite supportive in fintech evolution in Nigeria. And don't forget, there was a time they started, just rather when they started with the introduction of 6 innovation hubs in Nigeria. That was the game changer. And then we have the Yaba transformation, where Yaba became instead of Yaba left online, Yaba became the center for innovation with the Facebook and the likes of this world. Thank you.
You can say that again for those insights. Even when Mike Sugar came to Yaba, he went to Yaba straight. I dare say. That's
right.
Now, madam, some say that fintech companies are giving banks a very big challenge in competition for customers. Now, how true can this be? Or how could it be envisioned that fintechs with smaller structures, fewer staffers, are able to give the bank such a big fight in the marketplace?
Thank you for that. They are either right or almost right. And I'll tell you that because the youthful segment in Nigeria is a huge base. If we start the story from the days of give me my tally number with traditional banks, we have actually moved forward beyond that. But when we started the fintech evolution, the traditional banks still have a lot of onboarding bottlenecks. Go and bring your grandmother's marriage certificates. Go and bring confirmation that you are a male or a female or in between or LGBT, just to open a simple account. So, and then if you have the youthful segments, all they want is easy to use digital applications, as well as quality advisory service and support on the go. I don't want to come to your bank branch. And some of their pain points, based on McKinsey's research, that they feel slow response to complaints, complicated or non-functional banking applications, limited financial tracking solutions, and lack of advisory support for their investment management. So if you understand what I mean, so customer adoption of fintech is primarily being driven by access and convenience. Of course, trust is critical, and our parents, the baby boomers, I want to believe Mr. Akifatunke falls into that category. Why I'm still a millennial, with due respect.
Oh my Jesus!
Despite satisfaction among consumers, but the youth segment, the trust factor is still important, and that's what the traditional banks enjoy. So, if you the rise in fintech products, if you ask me, to address these pain points, the switch to fintech is not also an automatic step for many, because 65-77% of bank customers still say they trust their bank more. For example, a first bank, We have 5 or 4 generations. I mean, First Bank has been around since 127 years. So you have great-grandfather passbook, grandfather passbook, father's savings accounts, and daddy's current accounts. Yes, they may not be able to pass that across to the millennials, but that tradition is there. So they are throwing that challenge, but traditional banks have now adopted calling themselves a technology company providing financial services. They're different from we offer banking services. We are saying we are a technological company. There is no bank worth its salt in Nigeria or global in global industry today that is not making heavy investment into agile technology to be able to meet up with the challenge thrown up. Don't forget that the likes of Google, I mean, we call them the GAFA, Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. They have moved the goalposts almost unreachable for the rest of us in those early days. But now, most banks and everyone in the ecosystem, we've stepped up our game. And let me quickly touch on the pillars of a fintech ecosystem. I mean, that will probably give us more insight. The pillars of an ecosystem of a typical fintech ecosystem include end users like you and I, mostly the millennials. We are the tech vendors who also want to put some digital transformation behind their stack of products. We have the startups. Sometimes I hear fintech, I hear startups. They are both the same when it comes to this ecosystem. We have the universities and research institutions that are now leveraging the incubators to try fast, fail fast, and move very quickly. We also have governments and regulators. We have the investors. Today, now, Mr. Kifatunke, we talk about angel investors. In those days, when I was still a bloody accountant, when I hear angel, I thought, oh, so angels now leave able to come and invest? What kind of currency? But all that has changed. Angel investors are those people with deep pockets, but they are smart. They want to put their money where they can get results. And then we have financial institutions where we all belong, the traditional banks of this world. We have the incubators, accelerators, and innovation lab. And most traditional banking codes all have morphed into springing up digital lab to support their innovation quest. Let me pause on that for a while.
Wow, fantastic. In fact, you've just taken it, so we now know why millennials, why from our baby boomers, you zoomed into that too. And Generation X is getting into fintech. I guess that is part of the things that has made them to grow so fast. But please, madam, can you please explain what sandbox means in fintech parlance? Sandbox is SANDBOX. What does it mean in fintech parlance?
I get that. We use that a lot. Sandbox, in simple terms, layman terms, is a virtual environment with a mock-up of APIs. And when I say APIs, I mean application. I just want to talk what it's. That is just like it's application programming interface of different financial institutions for innovators to test their ideas and build minimum viable products. But we call that MVP in the digital world. What that simply means is enables the innovators to collaborate with the owners of the APIs to launch their products. These days, for example, I read in the news today that InterSwitch, the unicorn, one of our latest unicorn, of course, that there has been over 2 years now, a whole lot has even come up behind that. They just announced that they are opening up plugin of APIs for other startups. That is a major milestone. We are leveraging this open banking initiative by CBN, of which I'm also in the committee for the open banking opportunity initiative by the CBN. So it said, what is, in the world of cybersecurity, for the benefits of our audience, a sandbox environment is an isolated virtual machine in which potentially unsafe software code can execute without affecting network resources or local applications. That means you can put yourself in a room where other things, just to do like a recce, where you just try out some new products. I mean, we call it a minimum viable product. Quickly, you fail fast, you move on, you keep iterating till you get it right. Now, if you try that in a traditional setting, a whole lot of funds will be lost. It can actually affect smooth operations of BAU, business as usual operations. But with Sandbox, you're actually allowed to innovate, be creative. In development terms, you can say a sandbox usually involves a development server and a staging server. Like I said, it's mock-up. It's like a recce. So you separate that from the production environment. But of course, you will still require like a basic network access. I mean, developers use this server to upload code. What we are trying to say here is it empowers developers to focus on building solutions together in a collaborative way. And then you can build a world-class APIs and SDKs. I mean, when I say SDK, I mean software development kits, which is a great way to think about it. A dedicated development environment that will not affect the BAU side of things.
Beautiful. I like the bits about how you're breaking this down, even for the common man. Those of us who are not techie, we're now then moving into it. I remember an American president came on in terms of old and said, it's not about the money. But then he came back and said, it's about the money. And I'm just interested to find out from you, madam. So how are fintechs making their money? What is the role of technology? You've explained that, but maybe expatiate on that. What will be the role of technology in all this money-making thing for fintech?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Akinfatunke. It's actually getting more interesting. We have defined fintech earlier as leveraging technology to make a difference. What that has also done is to crash the cost of setting up a traditional branch. We are all familiar with, we are accountants. We audit financial statements of financial institutions, and we know what goes into running a typical branch in an environment such as ours, where power is such a huge challenge, electricity. So most bank branches run like 90% generator. Talk about the brick and mortar cost, which are usually capital intensive. What fintech has done is to crash all that. So they are making that same service that you will queue up to get in a typical bank branch. They are leveraging technology to make that difference. And I would like to, at this juncture, to emphasize that our Nigerian-based fintechs don't usually, their major focus in lately is raising capital, mostly. And in order to attract investors, they position themselves to grow volume and value in order to show credibility of their financial inclusion objective. We've spoken about the support of Central Bank of Nigeria in providing the regulation, the innovation hubs, the right policy environments for these fintechs to try. And if you ask me, sometimes the Central Bank is lenient on the fintechs than traditional banks, and for a justifiable reason. For a bank like ours that started for, over 127, we have Union Bank, we have the top, the full guys, First Bank, Union, GT, Access, and Zenith. You don't want those ones to go just disappear by any decision that is not based on ground, solid ground. But we call the fintech, like I mentioned, portmanteau of financial services. So if anything happens, like one of my bosses will joke, they will just fold their computer and internet into a portmanteau and take a walk to via border to Ghana and join the next available boats. That's just in a lighter mode. So fee waivers, free card issuance, zero cost to end users are what as the attraction, the incentive that the fintechs are using to drive product volume and product adoption in terms of even in terms of value. The millennials don't want to spend their money. So if you offer them free car that you even deliver to them at the convenience of their home, remember, we have said that the attraction is convenience and access. And fintech is making all that available at a crash or even zero cost.
Oh, super.
That's so incentive. That is so how will I call that? That is so motivating, and that is so juicy for you to want, as a millennial, to want to abandon your traditional bank that your account officer that will see ask you, okay, so we have not seen your utility bill. It's not current. Bring the last 6 months utility bill. Millennials don't care about those. They open an account online, they start transacting, and that's it. Whether with minimum restriction, but they are transacting, that's what they're happy about. So, and let's not forget that the fintechs have been in existence for less than a decade. And few are profitable, or they have, let's say they have large cash reserves. Remember, sir, we have had huge investment into Nigerian fintech. 2020 alone, over $4 billion was what the fintechs in Nigeria attracted in terms of investment. That is no mean feat.
Super. So I have seen situations, Madam Folasade Femi-Lawal, where efficiency and effectiveness is now turned to money, and by the press of a button, value is created, and then, of course, naturally. Now, I wanted to also ask you what the role of fintech providers, the role of fintech providers in digital financial services.
They are actually at the center of digital financial services. I'm privileged to be on the board of trustees for Association of Digital Financial Services practitioners based in Lagos Business School, the Alumni Association. And what we found out is that the reasons for the critical role that fintech plays in digital financial services is a compelling use case that address unmet needs. I've highlighted those unmet needs of millennials and are driven by differentiated technology. And then access to large pools of data and advanced analytics capabilities to generate innovative products and penetrate new markets. That's the role that the fintech providers is playing in digital financial services. Then the ability to attract and retain quality talent that can support rapid scaling. And even this talent pool, they're not even expensive. They're not expensive. So they are the ones that will wear torn jeans to the office. They don't want, in fact, they prefer to work remotely. The pandemic has actually thrown up a new challenge. I don't want to show up in the office. I can deliver what you want me to deliver from the comfort of my home. Why do you need me to come and clock in? And then we also have the strong risk management capabilities and an understanding of financial services to adapt to regulatory requirements. And we must also not forget that having a large customer base makes them attractive to investors. But at the same time, they are helping us in the digital financial services ecosystem. That will create for faster accumulation of valuable data that we can easily analyze. And you know that data is king in these digital financial services. And in other emerging markets, genesis of fintechs in terms of services has mostly been payments. When they have the inflection points, the micro lending comes in, then we can start talking about wealth management and eventually insurance, of course. So whoever owns the payment infrastructure layer has the potential to leverage that to own the credit opportunity. So that's the role that is fintech providers, if you ask me, they have been playing in the digital financial services ecosystem.
Fantastic points. And for our online viewers, if you're just joining in, I have been guesting Mrs. Folasade Femi-Lawal, digital expert, fintech expert with over 25 years in the business, and she's been breaking it down. And our subjects, reforms in the financial sector with emphasis on the role of fintech. Keep your questions coming in. Thanks for all your comments. There was a question that rolled on earlier, and somebody was looking at fintech vis-a-vis tax administration. Tax will now be the new oil. Is fintech taking any position in making sure how we assess tax, how we digitalize tax to the women in baggy markets, in the Okeari, in Gwagwalada? Is fintech going into that area, for tax administration, considering their capabilities and that the idea that it prevents tax as our tomorrow's oil?
That's actually a wonderful question for us at this time. I'll approach the question by going down memory lane, Mr. Akinfatunke. Gone are the days in Coopers and Lybrand and the likes of Akintola Williams and the Arthur Anderson of this world that we put bodies of article clerks to go on stock taking exercise at the end of the year or at the end of a quarter. In those days, then when UAC was one of our premium clients at Coopers and Lybrand, now PwC. The schedule for stock count across the nation is a huge project with our partners and our managers supervising. Today, all that has changed. People now do stock taking is done within the twinkling of an eye by drones. We're not putting bodies of men. I use that example to roll into tax. I want to believe there's an ongoing evolution and body of work happening on that. Because that is the only way. And the starting point, if you ask me, is the launch of digital currency by the CBN. The objective is to be able to track what are we spending, who is spending what. So you cannot come and hide under any guise. And we must also remember other clients, other markets where the economy is booming and the government is able to support the citizens. They are very transparent with their tax. We only get away with blue model here in Nigeria for obvious reasons, because we have issues with quality data. But I think that is becoming a thing of the past by the fintech evolution. I won't be surprised by the time I show up here next time, we have tax, a fintech that's dedicated to tax. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I can assure you something is in the works. And when it comes out, we will know that Nigeria, we know they carry last. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful insight in there. And you can only get that on ICAN on Air. You can only get that from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, of same chapter, new chapter. Now, Madam, I'd like to ask you, does cryptocurrency have any part or role in the spread and success of fintech?
The blockchain public ledger technology, which underlies cryptocurrency, has a potential to disrupt a wide variety of transactions, in addition to the traditional payment system. And this includes stocks, bonds, and other financial assets for which records are stored digitally, and for which currently there's a need for a trusted third party to provide verification of the transaction. And if you notice, our CBN e-Naira is riding on blockchain, not cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, I know Nigeria millennials, they're making Nigeria to be at the forefront of cryptocurrency transactions. Almost most Nigerians in diaspora and our millennials are actively transacting in cryptocurrency, irrespective of the clampdown and the disclaimer issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. You know, people still have their rights. But in my own professional opinion, cryptocurrency can be unstable. So you see, for example, a currency that's a Jeff Bezos of these are the richest man now, will just post a tweet and then the cryptocurrency value rises by one human being tweet. So if tomorrow the man comes out, remember there was that we've had that experience recently. When he came out and he said something to the contrary, everything was died. I don't want to put my currency, I don't want to put a reliability on that. And that's why we want to commend CBN for launching the e-Naira, the first in Africa. We beat others to do that on blockchain technology. That one is reliable. So I'd rather focus on the blockchain technology that e-Naira is riding on. Thank you.
Oh, super. Blockchain technology, fintech. Like you said, Nigeria, I know they carry last in that area. I know we are, at the forefront. I have a question that's just been from Dorothy Bidemi. She's saying that with fintech, can we say technology has taken over jobs and demand for labor has reduced? If so, how can we graduates and accountants stay relevant in today's world?
Very good question, Dorothy Bidemi. So it's an opportunity for me to talk about myself. I am in quotes, pardon my French, bloody accountant like yourself. Qualified accountant in 1997. Became a fellow of the institute in 2010 and almost immediately got ICAN license to practice. So by any design, I should be sitting in a cool world-class office and sipping a cup of coffee and signing off on audited financial statements and getting paid above the minimum poverty level. However, if you don't innovate, they say, you become a dinosaur. I look all around me and I realize change has come. And I decided to upskill myself. Because you wonder how I became a digital transformation expert. Being a qualified accountant, you know how our world is as an accountant. You just want to check all the debits aligned to the credits. And it's a challenge and an encouragement to fellow accountants. We must not stay stuck in our corner. Drones are now doing stock counts. There are other strategic and digital approach to audit these days. But don't lose hope. There's a huge opportunity in the digital world for accountants. I mean, I'm an example. I got that phone call from my former managing director if I would like to, in fact, the question was, are you able to drive digital banking? And being an accountant, the tendency, and then a woman, the tendency, and they say for women, the tendency for you to look at, you say, I'm not, what about if I fail? Then you also should also ask yourself, what about if you don't fail? As this woman had said, the Shell's Sandberg, one of my favorite professional women, the chief operational officer for Facebook, she says, what is there for you on the other side of fear? There's a whole lot of opportunity. I took up the challenge, and today I pioneer digital banking for First Bank as an accountant. As a matter of fact, when we go for management, in those days at Philips Consulting, when we go for training and we have MAP, management management analysis of proficiency, MAP, that's what they call it. The feedback I always get in my report, year in, year out, is should not go near anything technical. Better as a professional accountant. You know, I mean, the typical features of an accountant. You don't need to go digital. Technical, not suitable for technical roles. But today, we both said that we demystify that an accountant can start a digital banking department, made it a global award-winning business. We launched mobile banking. The first bank mobile banking app came slightly late to the market, and we took over. The unstructured supplementary service data of First Bank came in early. I had a moment of inactivity. We relaunched into the market like a second or third player. Today, we have taken over the market with over 12 million digital customers. What are we saying is that it is possible. It is possible if we upskill, if we reskill, if we upgrade ourselves, if we open up our mind. There's nothing called glass ceiling. Impossibility is nothing in the digital world. And I want to challenge fellow accountants. Don't limit yourself. The millennials, the fintechs of this world, they don't have 2 heads. You need to even check the first degree of some of their leaders. Psychology, sometimes nothing related to technical, aside the guys in InterSwitch and a few others. But we can innovate. We can step up and still take over the market. So the opportunity is there. It is huge. Super. Let's not miss out as accountants. Thank you.
Excellent point. And that statement should not be lost on us, Swan, ICAN, students of accountancy, friends of the institutes, that there is no glass ceiling. We should continue to learn, unlearn, relearn, like Alan Toffler said. There's a question that just came. Now, maybe this is one thing that have been trending on social media for all ages, talking about metaverse, you know. What do you think about Africa and adoption of the very hot and trending metaverse in the US and other big countries of the world? Is going to be another subject entirely. Just maybe in a minute, your thoughts there.
Like you rightly said, once we get on that, we'll be here till tomorrow.
I can imagine.
Africa is not operating we are not operating in isolation. The world has become a global village. Mr. Kifatunke, you will agree with me. If anything happens in America today, give it next tomorrow. Africa is impacted. So the jury is not yet out, but I want to say, just watch out.
Just watch out. Just watch out. And Madam, there is something that you said. Maybe like me, quite a number of people who need some further exposition, because we are talking about CBN, e-Naira, you know, and then the digital economy and ecosystem. You are talking about the correlation. Just for you to just expand that a little bit. What is the correlation, CBN, e-Naira, and the digital economy ecosystem? Is there a correlation?
There is. Let me start with the several benefits from a central bank issued digital currency in Nigeria. Like I said before, this digital currency, the e-Naira, it has the capacity to change the landscape of the financial services sector due to the unique payments and acceptance capabilities. And it's also going to deepen financial inclusion. We are going to have ease of remittance. Like I mentioned also, e-Naira traceability limits the use of its use for illicit or fraudulent purposes. And they are also still rolling into digital economy ecosystem. Remember, I have analyzed the the fintech ecosystem, not particularly different from the digital economy ecosystem as well. Welfare.
Right.
Remember, the government was paying some stipends to the poorest of the poorest. Remember. Now, eNaira is going to enable the equitable and faster distribution of such assistance in cash to households and communities that are included in the government and social welfare programs. We must also remember the financial inclusion we're talking about, target of 80% on bank Nigerians, that they need to have a formal financial economy to have a phone. eNaira will help with the salary payments and payment for goods and services. We are even going to become more attractive for international trades because transaction will be cheaper, safe, quick, and better. Talk about security. It has covered that. You cannot forge eNaira because of a unique identity and security structure. eNaira will also aid revenue collection. We have mentioned tax. Whether there's going to be any reform in tax, just wait for it. It's going to reduce cash handling costs. And part of the background for eNaira is the cashless policy and to mitigate the risk of carrying cash around. And the pandemic also provide an opportunity for digitization. And for us at First Bank, we launched First Bank Virtual Card during the pandemic in October 2020. Impossibility, they say, is nothing. And eNaira is also going to underscore that. It's going to simplify the monetary policy implementation because it's going to make it easy to channel money. As a matter of fact, the economic growth of offering easier access to capital and financial services is going to impact the economy because there will be increase in economic activities at little or no interest transaction rates. I mean, talk about currency conversion. So I don't have to struggle if I'm going to Kenya or Ghana or Senegal because eNaira will make it easy to do currency conversion. It's all inclusive and it has impact on digital economy ecosystem without any shadow of doubt.
Super. Thank you very much. And I'm having Lawal Olamekposi asking this question, and if I may just turn it around, what jobs, therefore, can an accountant do if it's a digital accountant? if I understand that. Yeah.
Several. I mean, let me even start with my own CV. I sit on the board of a fintech conglomerate in Mauritius. They found me on LinkedIn, followed me for a period of time without my knowing, saw the contents I roll out on my LinkedIn page, and I was invited to be on their board. We went through the due diligence, the standard in my organization. I got the green light. I came on board. I'm still an accountant. A digital accountant. I'm an accountant. Let me not say digital accountant. An accountant with a digital mind. I did an MBA strictly online at a school in North America. Never a single in-person training session. I'm still an accountant. That MBA was for a period of about 36 months, 24 to 36 months, because the pandemic affected it. That was the first time I got exposed to digital conference, where you'll be in a digital conference with thousands of other experts, and you present your paper and it is critiqued. All digital. I'm still an accountant. I sit on Financial Services Innovators Advisory Board. Financial Services Innovator is a group of fintech startups. They have the sandbox. If you want to do sandbox, please approach Financial Services Innovator. I just mentioned FFL. I sit on their board. I'm still an accountant. And I've also mentioned I came on stream into First Bank, leveraging my experience as a telecom expert, still an accountant. I was in financial services department. I moved to become head of business analysis for commercial directorates at Econet, fulfilling my calling as an accountant. When the opportunity for mobile money came up, I swiftly took up that opportunity. I came into First Bank as a business development person, being the next in line to the MD of the special purpose vehicle called Prida Systems to run mobile financial services. It is from the success of there that we were able to disburse funds to northern women in those terrorist areas where angels fear to tread, remotely on their phones. We disbursed
Wow.
nearly 1 billion naira, supporting
Wow.
UNICEF eradication of polio. So when they read the story of eradication of polio in Nigeria today, First Bank has a stake, must have a mention by virtue of that work that we did before it became popular in
Fantastic.
2013, 2014. This got the attention of Bill
Fantastic.
and Melinda Gates Foundation. And First
Fantastic.
Bank got $12 million grant to drive agency banking. What are we
You
saying?
you
I'm
can
still an
continue to
accountant,
say that
and we
again.
got all that done.
You can
So
continue to say
opportunity
that
is huge,
again.
my fellow
My
accountants.
my sister, you just inspired us. You've broken it down. Time not being a friend. I need to
Thank you.
acknowledge our online participants. I need to
Absolutely.
acknowledge my editorial team who are working behind the scene. I also need to acknowledge my back end team. I need to also acknowledge the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria under the leadership of Mrs. Comfort Eyitayo, CFE, CFA, MNI, FCA, whose vivid imagination and vision has bettered the ICAN on Air. Just your last words, just very briefly, madam, on this subject.
All right. Thank you so very much. Before I move on to that, I must also celebrate the anchor for today, Mr. Akin Fatunke. You've been amazing. You've been all shades of amazement. Thank you for the smooth anchoring. I had
Thank you.
trepidation dealing with a very, very senior FCA who I didn't meet at Coopers and Librand. But you made it so easy. We bridged the generation gap.
It's
And
the age
kudos
of
to you.
millennials. It's the age of millennials. You are the one ruling the waves. Yeah.
You can say
Thank
that
you.
again. And I must commend my big sister, the current ICAN president, the divisionaire of ICAN on Air. This is an epoch-making program that is going to be of huge legacy. I believe it's going to go beyond that tenure. I'm a member of Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, and I'm proud to be associated with it. And for her representing us in ICAN Council as a president is huge commendation to the women folk and to ICAN for even allowing the women to fly without clipping our wings. And to the backstage team, very well done. And thank you for having me. My last word will be innovate as an accountant or you become a dinosaur. God forbid. See you again. I hope to be back soon when the
Oh,
reform starts on another level.
you can be sure we are going to call back on you. You will not know how many young ladies out there you have inspired, your professional accountants. And that
My
inspiration
pleasure.
is not ending with this program. I like to announce to our online participants that this is an ongoing process. You see our deck that shows that this happens Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. West African time. Go to the ICANN Facebook, and please try and like so that this can be streamed. Our next offering will be January 6th, which is Thursday, year 2022 at 6 p.m. That will be a Thursday. And of course, we'll be guesting Taiwo Oyedele Esquire, by your popular acclaim wanting to have Tayo Oyedele, who is his fiscal policy partner, and African tax leader as PricewaterhouseCoopers. We are going to be looking at the Finance Act 2021, looking at the key changes and the key expectations for 2022. Let me drop this quotation with you. Financial service providers act as the lubricating oil in the economy. They link the consumers who want to invest their savings for a good return with companies who want to borrow on best terms for expansion. And that is John Bruton that I've just quoted. Like I always say, be the change I like to see. And remain Akin Fatunke, your icon on air. See you shortly on Thursday, January 6, 2002. Tell your friends. You will be most welcome. Bye for now.